Hello everybody and welcome back to Modded Minecraft with Red. Unfortunately, when I recorded this episode, the commentary audio did not start, so this is a voiceover. I apologize for that, but the block we're looking at, that we were looking at rather, is a weather deflector. This episode we actually decide to go a little different route for the time being and set the mods aside for a moment and work on a special 4th of July episode for you guys. So that block there in front of us is the weather deflector. It's only going to be in this episode. I have already taken it out of the single player world. And we just didn't want any weather to affect what we were doing with our 4th of July spectacular that we have going on. So at this point in time, I was telling you guys about the weather deflector and what we were going to do and why we put it down. So, hurry up, Red. Go ahead and show the crafting recipe. Maybe I didn't even show the crafting recipe. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I apologize to you guys that I have to do it this way. But technology will be technology, and sometimes things go wrong, and it obviously did with this recording. So in this episode, like I was saying, we're going to work on something a little festive. First and foremost, I will say happy 4th of July to all you who celebrate the 4th of July. I hope you guys had a great weekend and a safe weekend as well. And I hope that, your summer so far is going well for all of you students who are out on summer vacation and enjoying, hopefully, decent weather. So we move on, hopefully, from the weather the weather deter block, and here we're going to set up and we'll start working towards some fireworks. What is a 4th of July without some sort of fireworks display? So here we go. We're going to need some rockets, which rockets are just some gunpowder, some paper, and some sort of fireworks star. And that there's multiple tiers. You got a flight duration 1 firework rocket, a flight duration 2, which requires 2 gunpowder, and of course the firework flight duration 3, which requires 3 gunpowder, and still, a piece of paper and some sort of star. So we decided to go with the second tier rocket, the flight duration 2. And I went that way because I figured out that the flight duration 1 was not going to get up as high as we would like, but the flight duration 3 would end up going above the clouds and we wouldn't see. And so here we start going through all of the different types of recipes for the firework stars. As you saw there, you have a creeper or a small ball, and this is basically how they explode. This is what they look like when they explode. So we go ahead and we decide to make some small ball fireworks stars, but we don't want them all black, so we're going to change that out. And I went out and I got various colors and whatnot, and we checked to see what time it is, and of course it's nighttime. Apparently I couldn't tell that from the clock, so we're looking good to set up a test real quick. So let's go ahead and get some dye, and I believe we're going to pull out a light gray dye. Yeah. And so we pull out the light gray dye, and there we go. We get just a couple of small balls, and about 5 of them or so. And then let's go ahead and make our rocket star, which we're going to go with the tier 1. Let's light just to test and see how far up the tier 1 will go. So we grab one of those, and then we reset the recipe here for a tier 2 or a flight duration 2. and we'll make one of those as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we also come up now, and yep, we are going to make the tier 3 as well. Again, so we can test that just to see how the how high the flight durations go. So we're also going to at some point need some sort of launcher as well, and with the launcher that requires a dispenser. So we're going to look up how to make a dispenser real quick. There it is. It's just a bow with some sort of cobblestone and a piece of redstone. Not that hard to make. So let's go ahead and make our bow, and we'll make our dispenser now, because we should have everything. Yeah, there it is. And of course the dispenser needs some sort of redstone signal, so let's go ahead and see if we have any buttons. We don't, but we do have stone, so we'll take a piece of stone and create ourselves a button. There we go. And of course we've got our 3 rockets ready to launch. So let's go set this up and you know, see what it looks like out here. And thank you for the enderplant seeds, Mr. Endermini. Not like we need more of those. So we'll just kind of fly up here, make sure that it's pointing straight up. We'll put our flight duration 1 in, shift right click to place the button, and here we go. And yeah, like I said, you know, that didn't go up too high, so let's try the flight duration number 2 and see how that goes. Yeah, that went up there a decent ways, so yeah, again, I believe that's what we end up going with, but now we got the flight duration 3, and yeah, just as I feared, they start going up there into the clouds, and it's very hard to see when they get up there in the clouds. So we'll go ahead and break everything down, and let's go make some you know, actual fireworks for a display. Now, why I was running over there, I don't exactly remember. I think I got lost in my own base. That's probably what happened. So with the fireworks, we're going to go with another tier 2, it looks like. I just clicked the wrong recipe. So there we go, get our gunpowder out. And let's put 2 balls in there, because it says that you can, you know, fill it up with multiple balls. So yeah, let's see what 2 balls looks like. And we will see what happens. We'll set everything back up real quick here. So there we go, put our firework in, right click, and yeah, not all that spectacular. They go off at the same time. Maybe if they were 2 different colors, they might look better, but you know, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and see what we can do to make some, you know, pretty fireworks and some sort of firework display. So we've got that stuff, but we're going to need some sort of firework ball, and I think the small ball might look fairly decent, because we got a small ball with a trail, we've got a small ball with a twinkle, which, you know, again, I believe that just twinkles different colors. We have a large ball, which is a larger explosion. We have a large ball with a twinkle, a large ball with a trail, a star shape with a trail, a regular just plain old star shape, a burst, a star-shaped twinkle, another burst twinkle, a burst with a tail, or trail rather. There's the creeper shapes again, creeper shape and creeper shape with a trail. Just a small ball black, but you can have it fade to different colors. So basically you just make a star and then add a different color to it, and it should fade to that color. And then another creeper shape with a twinkle. So again, we make several different varieties here. Looks like we're leaning towards the small ball, so let's go ahead and clear that out, and we're looking for some sort of dye to dye the ball with. And looks like we're going to go with yellow for these. So we will make just a handful of these, about 8 or so. There we go. And we will set those aside. And then let's take a look at what other ones we might want to create. Well, the small ball with a trail, that might be kind of cool to make. So we will go ahead and clear out the recipe for the black because we don't want black. And let's try the magenta, or purple rather. We'll get about 8 of those. And then let's see what else we can come up with here. Well, we looks like we're eyeballing the small ball with a twinkle. So let's go ahead and get that. Again, you know, the recipe's changed just slightly. It's always going to be gunpowder with some sort of dye. And looks like we're going with blue twinkling ball, small ball, and it's the glowstone that causes it to twinkle, apparently. So we will get about 8 of those as well. And let's go ahead and make up a few more here. Let's go with a large ball as well. That's going to take some fire charges. Well, those are very easy to make. That's just more gunpowder, some blaze powder, and a piece of coal or charcoal. We've got enough charcoal, so let's go ahead and grab, you know, several of those. And you know what? I decided let's just make a stack of them. So since they're cheap and easy to make, and we will make a large ball then. And again, we'll clear out the black. Don't know why it keeps throwing the ink sacs in there, but apparently it really wants us to do black. And we're saying, nope, we're going to do red. So we'll make up about 8 of these red large balls. There we go. Let's see what else we decide to make up here. We got large ball twinkle. We've got... what else? We've got the star shaped. And we're going back to the large balls now. And looks like we're going to go after the large ball with a twinkle. So again, clear out the recipe, and you know, we have the weather deflector there. But, you know, I just wanted to keep an eye on that thunderstorm. What the weather deflector should do is if it goes tornadic or cyclonic, it will prevent it from doing anything. It will just immediately dissipate the storm once it goes severe, or extreme rather. Meaning that, you know, we can get, you know, hail, we can get heavy rain and thunderstorms and windstorms. And... stuff like that, but it won't actually go tornadic or cyclonic. So we pull out 8 of the large twinkling balls, and we decide to go with orange for that color. And right now we're just going through taking inventory of you know, what we made so far. So we're not making, you know, 50 million of the same balls. So let's go ahead and make a couple of burst balls, which again, most fireworks displays have. Those are the ones that, you know, it's just a very large explosion. There's really not too much, you know, firework to them. It's just a loud bang. So we decide to go with some of those because, again, what's a fireworks display without, you know, just the large bursts? And of course, whenever you see them, 9 times out of 10, they're a white burst. So let's go ahead and make up about 8 of those. So now we're going to continue on and, you know, continue filling out our fireworks display here. And let's go with a star shape. But do we want a star shape with a trail? Do we want one that twinkles? We're not exactly sure. Or do we want one that is just plain Jane? And we're saying, you know what, let's go with instead. Oh, we've got a large ball. Oh, we're getting more large balls though. And it looks like we're going with red large balls. So we're going to make up 8 of these real quick. Because then what we're going to do, because it might look kind of cool, is if we take these red large balls, remember we can have them fade. So let's come back here and grab a little bit of white bone meal and some lapis and see what that'll look like. And it'll be a large red explosion, and then it'll fade to red or to white and blue. Very patriotic, no? So there we go. We've got our red, white, and blue firework now. And a thought occurs to me. I'm wondering if I could have put that ball back in so it actually went from red, faded to white, and then put the red fade to white back in, and had it red fade to white, white fade to blue, instead of, red fade to white blue. That's something that I thought about as I was sitting here recording this. So it looks like we're going to make a lime colored star shape now. And again, we'll grab about 6 of those. And then that should be everything that we need. But it looks like we're going to as well change that up and set it up to fade. And how are we going to have that fade? Well, it looks like we're going patriotic again with some red and a little bit of white and possibly some lapis. Yeah, here it comes. So there we go. We're going to have it fade to red, white, and blue. Again, very patriotic, going from a lime color star shape to a red, white, and blue star shape. So there we go. We've got 32, basically a stack, but they're all different colors. And again, we're going with the tier 2 rocket. So let's go ahead and start putting our firework stars in. I learned very quickly that if you shift click, it will use up all of your balls, and then it will, there you go, just make standard fireworks, which are paper standard rockets, which are paper and gunpowder, which doesn't do us any good because sure, they take off and they whistle on the way up, but there's no explosion or anything to them. So let's go ahead and we grab a couple more stacks of paper just in case we oops like that again. Let's go ahead and grab our tier 2 again and not shift click them out one at a time so that we don't run into that mishap again. So we just kind of go through here and click through everything and get all of these rockets made up. Now keep in mind that we do still have that dispenser and that is set up outside. So that's cool. So we should be all set up and ready to go. That storm is getting rather annoying though. I would much prefer it not be around. And we made an extra firework rocket because it looks like we clicked one too many times. And yeah, the storm's still coming, but it's just a thunderstorm, no big deal. And it's daytime. Well, that doesn't do us any good. Yeah, the sun's about to set, but I really don't feel like being patient because we're not going to see too much during the day with these fireworks. So I decide that I'm going to dip back into blood magic real quick and get something from blood magic that will definitely help with that. And what we are going for is we are going for the weak ritual stone, I believe it is. Or no, we're going for the wireless transmitter right now. Got a little bit ahead of myself. The wireless transmitter allows us to send a redstone signal wirelessly from transmitter to receiver. That just requires a wireless transceiver, an obsidian stick or tool rod, a couple pieces of redstone, and some stone slabs. The receiver just requires basically the same thing, only a receiver dish, which is the same transceiver with a stone bowl. So the stone bowl is just 3 pieces of stone. It's not that hard to make. So let's go ahead and we will get several of these obsidian sticks and Reether pearls. And the Reether pearl is just some glowstone, some redstone, and an ender pearl. Again, not hard to make at all. So we grab a couple of those and put those into our system. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of the obsidian sticks, which is just 2 pieces of obsidian on top of each other to get 2. We're going to need about 4 of those in total. And there we go, there's 2 transceivers. And we'll put one of those in our inventory so we don't use them all up. So now we make our wireless dish with the stone bowl. And for some reason it didn't accept the shift click for the recipe. So let's go back in and shift click this time. There we go. There's our stone bowl. We'll put that down there and add those 2 together to get our receiver dish. And clear out the other transceiver. We should have stone slabs. We sure do. And there is our wireless receiver. And then we take that out, but little do we know that we actually need that as well. So there's that, and I herp a derp around, and oh yeah, well, we still need that other stick. So there we go. Now we have a wireless redstone system, which, you know, that's really cool because we can set this up anywhere and have it emit a signal. So if I come over here, and, you know, luckily the sun's going down, so it's, you know, decently dark now. And if I set up the transmitter there, and I come over here and set up the receiver here, I can go ahead and I can set the receiver up to accept, you know, whatever signal we want. So let's go ahead and throw just our dummy rockets in there since they don't have anything in them. And we'll come over here and place down a piece of cobblestone so the redstone signal can pass through it. And there we go. So now if we come in here, we can set up multiple things. We can set up any channel that we want up to 4,999. So we're just going to have this on frequency 1, and we're going to call this fireworks. And then we can, fireworks 1 rather, and we can set the name and close it. So now as you can see, there's a 1 on this transmitter. Well, if you come over here to the receiver, we can select fireworks 1. It automatically sets it to signal 1, and everything is set to go. So when we hit the button, it will activate that dispenser and launch the firework. And of course, I keep looking up at the sky, wondering what's going on with the weather. But here we go. Right click to the button, and the firework takes off. Which, you know, this is all well and good, but the button takes time to reset. And do we really want to sit here and right click the entire time, getting our fireworks display to launch? Not really. So let's make something else that will come in handy as a timer. Now there's several different timers that we could choose. We could go with RF Tools timer, but I've never really used one of those. So I think what we're going to end up going with is the regular timer from Project Red, which is just some anodes, a couple of cathodes, some circuit plates, which circuit plates are just stone smelted in some sort of furnace. And if I remember correctly, we oopsed and we did make some of those good, so we're good to go there. So let's go ahead and make up, you know, these anodes. That you get 3 per recipe, so that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. We come in here and let's get our conductive plate, which is just redstone and one of those plates, and we need 3 of those. It's a 1-to-1 recipe. Then we're going to need a cathode, which is circuit plate and just a redstone torch. So let's make up one of those and get our circuit plate. There we go. There's our cathode. And finally, we need a pointer, which is some sort of smooth stone on top of a redstone torch on top of a circuit plate. Well, that shouldn't be too hard to do, except, we don't have any redstone torches again, so let's make up several of those so we have them on hand. There we go, about 10 of them will do. And there's our pointer. We get that, and now we can get our timer. Cool. So there's the timer. Let's clear up our inventory a little bit. And let's go outside and set up this timer. So we will break our receiver down and set up our timer, say, right there. Which, it's facing the wrong way. Well, we could try to, pick it up and rotate it, but just like every other mod, it seems, it has its own special tool in the form of a screwdriver. So, to make a screwdriver, it's just 3 pieces of iron and a couple pieces of blue dye or lapis. There we go. There's our screwdriver. So now if we head back out, we can flip that around. But first, we're going to kind of derp around and get a stick or a lever, I am betting. Yep, here comes the cobblestone for the lever. There we go. So this way we don't have to push a button or anything. We just hit the switch and away it goes. So as you can see, it's ticking, every 2,000 ticks or so. There's our wireless receiver. We're going to reset that up, and we will give this a flip. And we can give it another flip if we want. But right now it's set to 2 seconds, so every 2 seconds it will send off a firework. Well, that's all well and good, but, we don't want it just, constantly firing. Let's put an on-off switch on it. So, we send it a redstone signal, and that shuts down the timer. It stops ticking. So, that's really cool. We'll use those a little bit more in the future. Let's go ahead and set this interval up to 10 seconds here. And we got a visitor. No zombies allowed. Get lost. Thank you. And yeah, we'll run it at 5 seconds here. And let's go ahead and load our fireworks into our display. So there's those. We put some regular rockets just because we can. And let's load everything up in here. Just like that, we have a full dispenser now, full of rockets. And let's get this show underway. With a flip of a switch, it's becoming nighttime, or daytime rather. So let's see what we got here. And after 5 seconds, there we go. Okay, that was a standard rocket. There was one. Oh, there we go. So it's really kind of difficult to see with those clouds in the sky. So maybe we would have been better off going with a flight duration of 1. But it's also kind of interesting how the weather is affecting it as well. Just like it would in real life. Fireworks go off into the sky and, the wind catches them and kind of blows them all over the place. So, we're running into that issue here. It's also kind of interesting, to see which way the wind's blowing and how much it changes with this weather mod. So there we go. There was the star, the lime star that went to red, white, and blue. That was kind of interesting. That was just a standard rocket there. That's why no boom. So yeah, this is all, well and neat and everything, and, it's somewhat enjoyable. It's about, what you would expect from a low-budget fireworks display. There was the white burst, and there's the red to white and blue fade. And there's our purple. And of course, it's becoming daytime, so it's becoming a little bit harder to see these. So there's another green star that fades red, white, and blue. Let's go ahead and turn this off now because it's getting a little bit too light out. We'll turn down the interval so that, you know, they go off every 1 second. And let's see what that looks like here for kind of a semi-finale. Yeah, it's definitely harder to see them now because daylight's breaking and those clouds are in the sky, which is really kind of a bummer. But as you can see, you can set up that timer to emit some sort of redstone signal at just about any interval you want. So, being that it's daytime now, we don't want it to be daytime. I mean, what good are fireworks during the day? This is where we dive into blood magic and we get the imperfect ritual stone. So that's just going to take some obsidian, some stone, and some sort of blood orb. Well, that's easy enough to make, like I said earlier in this episode. So we're just going to come over here. We're going to grab ourselves the redstone, or I'm sorry, the obsidian that we need. And there should already be stone over there in our altar. But we also are going to need a block of lapis because that is what we use for the ritual. So let's come over here, and we're fighting the lag for some reason. So let's set up our stone, and just any orb will work. There we go, our obsidian. There's our imperfect ritual stone. Put everything back and get out of the lag fest that we have going on in there. Back over to the main room. Let's just set this up over here in a corner. Doesn't really matter where we set it up. Put that down, put the lapis on top, and right click the imperfect ritual stone. Big boom, and hey, look at that, instant night. How cool is that, huh? There's also other ones to start rainstorms, end rainstorms. But you know, we want it to be night, so that's why we went with that one. So here we go. Yeah, now things are looking a lot better. And the wind also kind of seemed to die down a little bit as well. So now we're getting to see everything that happens. So yeah, you know, that looks pretty decent for a 4th of July display. You know, again, happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope it's going well for you and you have, you know, remained safe. And there we go, we're completely out of fireworks. But I have a surprise for you. Because we're going to pick up our transceiver here. And we're going to bring that up here. And here you can see we have one already set up with, you know, 2017. So let's flip this lever and watch the grand finale I have set up for you that I did off camera just before recording this episode. And let's flip the lever and see what happens. The anticipation's killing me. Come on, Red. There's the flip. And what the heck? Yeah, that's right. Another derp abound. I forgot how I had this thing set up. So we, you know, get a button instead. And as I was explaining to you guys while I was doing this, I will show you everything how I set it up in a later episode. For now, I just gotta come back here and break out these couple of pieces of redstone. And that'll shut the entire system down. There we go. Put the redstone back. And we whoosh back over. And hit our button. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you had a fun and safe 4th of July weekend. And sit back and enjoy the finale fireworks display. lied us out just a little bit there, but, you know, it's been a heck of a year so far. I want to thank you all for watching and, you know, checking out my channel. Thank you, everybody, for all of your support in this endeavor for me. So if you like this episode, make sure that you leave a like down below in the comments section. Don't forget to hit that like button because it really does help us creators out to let us know that you actually like the content that we're doing. Leave a comment about something else that you would like to see me do, or if you have any suggestions or advice. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that little notification icon next to the subscribe button so that you know when new episodes come up. Other than that, guys, have a great one, and I will talk to you later. See ya.